The letter was small, folded neatly into 4 parts, the edges slightly wrinkled, as if tiny fingers had held it for a long time before finally letting it go. When Armin picked it up from his desk, he didn't think much of it at first. His office received countless letters, complaints, proposals, invitations, and requests. But this one was different. There was no envelope, no official seal, no sender's name. Only 5 handwritten words on the front, written in uneven, shaky handwriting. "Can you read this letter?" He stared at the words for a moment. Something about the handwriting tugged at his chest. It was childish, innocent, almost trembling. Armin slowly unfolded the note and began reading. "It's very important. Please don't ignore it. I know you are very busy. Everyone says you are a great man who helps people. My mama said you have a kind heart. I don't know if this will reach you, but I hope it does. This is my final wish." Armin blinked. A strange heaviness settled behind his ribs. He straightened in his leather chair, the noise of his bustling office fading into silence as he continued reading. "My name is Ira. I am 9 years old. The doctors say I might not get better this time. I am not scared. I just don't want my mama to cry anymore. She works so hard. She cleans offices at night and cooks for people during the day. She says she'll give me the world one day. But I don't want the world. I just want her to smile again." Armin paused, his throat tightening. He didn't know this girl. He had never heard the name before. Yet the simplicity of her words pierced him more deeply than any business disaster or financial concern he had ever faced. He turned the page. "Mama doesn't know I wrote this. She thinks I'm sleeping. I heard the doctor telling her outside the room that there is a treatment, but it's too expensive. Mama cried a lot that night. She thought I didn't hear her, but I did. I always do." Armin felt his breath hitch. He lowered the letter for a moment and stared at the polished wooden surface of his desk. He was used to seeing hardship. He donated regularly, funded charities, opened scholarships. But this letter felt personal. The voice of the little girl felt as if she was right there in the room with him. He continued, "My mama told me once that you helped a family in our neighborhood last year. She said you were like an angel who walks around in big shoes and a shiny suit. I don't know if angels wear suits, but I imagined you did. When I heard about you, I wanted to meet you, but Mama said you were too important and we were too small." Armin's heart clenched. "Too small," he whispered under his breath. He looked toward the glass window of his office. Down below, the city was alive, cars rushing, people hurrying, lights blinking. All of them small, all of them fighting their own battles. He picked up the letter again. "I'm not asking you for money, sir. I know everyone asks rich people for money. I don't want that. I want you to promise me something else. If something happens to me, can you make sure Mama doesn't stay alone? She hides her tears in front of me, but I know she is very tired. I know she is scared." Armin swallowed hard. He could almost imagine the child writing those words, her little hands struggling to form each letter. "I have one more wish. Please don't tell Mama I wrote this. She will worry too much. And if I get better, I'll tell her myself and we will laugh about it. But if I don't, then I want you to read this to her one day. Slowly, gently, because she gets hurt easily but pretends she is strong." Armin shut his eyes for a moment. He felt the sting of tears he was not used to letting fall. In his world, tears were a weakness. But in this moment, they felt like the only honest reaction. "Thank you for reading. Even if you decide not to help, I want to say thank you. Because writing this made me feel a little braver. Love, Ira." When he finished the letter, Armin didn't move for a long time. The office around him buzzed with phone calls, footsteps, printers, the dull hum of air conditioning. But he felt as if he had stepped into another world, one where a little girl had trusted him with the last piece of her courage. He read the letter again. And again. Each time, the words cut deeper. Finally, he stood up abruptly. His assistant, Sana, startled as he approached her desk. "Sir, is everything okay? Find out who dropped this on my desk," he said, holding the letter tightly. "Right now." Sana blinked. "Sir, I didn't see anyone come in." "Maybe. Then check the cameras," he said, his voice firmer. "No excuses." Within minutes, a security officer rushed in with footage on a tablet. He played the clip. Armin watched a small girl, wearing a pale yellow dress, walking slowly into the lobby. She looked fragile, almost too weak to walk. She approached the receptionist's desk, holding the letter in both hands, then pointed toward the elevator. Armin leaned in. Zoom in on her face. The frame expanded. He saw her clearly now. Big dark eyes, thin cheeks, lips pressed into a brave little smile. Ira. The security officer continued the footage. A janitor, the one who cleaned the upper floors, was seen escorting her to the executive level. He looked worried, holding her hand gently. Call him, Armin said immediately. Minutes later, the janitor, an elderly man named Raouf, stood nervously in his office. Sir, she begged me, Raouf said, wiping his forehead. She said it was very important. I didn't think she was doing anything wrong. You did nothing wrong, Armin said softly. Where is she now? At the hospital, sir. She gets treatment there. Her mother, she works double shifts. Armin's jaw tightened. Take me to them. The old janitor nodded, relieved. As they made their way to the car, Armin held the letter once more. The girl had walked through his massive building, climbed floors she could barely handle, all to deliver her final wish. He couldn't stop replaying her words. Please make sure Mama doesn't stay alone. For the first time in years, Armin felt something awakening inside him, a sense of responsibility not born from duty or charity, but from a promise a child had trusted him to keep. At the hospital, the air smelled of disinfectant and quiet suffering. Children's drawings lined the walls. Nurses moved quickly, carrying files and medicines. Raouf led him to a dimly lit room. There, lying in a narrow bed, was Ira. Her breathing was shallow, her skin pale, but her eyes, those same big dark eyes, fluttered open when she heard footsteps. She looked at Armin for a long second, then her lips curved into a tiny, hopeful smile. You read it, she whispered. Armin's throat tightened so painfully he couldn't speak. He nodded. Ira's smile grew a little. Thank you. I was scared you wouldn't. Armin walked closer and sat beside her bed. I read every word, he finally managed. And I'm here because of you. Her eyes glimmered. Mama didn't know. Please don't tell her yet. I won't, he promised quietly. But I need to know what you want me to do for you. Ira blinked slowly. Just take care of Mama. Not now. Maybe later. She'll need help. Armin reached for her small hand, cold yet soft. I will, he said firmly. I promise. A tear slipped down her cheek. Not from fear, not from pain, but from relief. For the next hour, Armin stayed by her side. He listened as she told him about her favorite stories, her dreams, her mother's laughter, and how she wanted to grow up to be a nurse so she could help other sick children. When her mother arrived, exhausted and carrying grocery bags, Ira pretended to be asleep. Armin quietly stepped out before the mother could see him. He didn't want to break the child's promise. But outside the hospital room, he made another promise, to himself. Whatever it took, whatever it cost, he would save her. Because no child's final wish should be about their mother learning to live without them. And because he had been given a responsibility that no amount of money could buy, a little girl's last thread of hope.